XCOM 2 is the sequel to XCOM Enemy Unknown, developed by Firaxis Games, which served as a reboot of the XCOM franchise, which I feel did an excellent job of modernising the game while retaining all of the series staples such as tactical turn-based strategy with deep progression. XCOM Enemy Unknown saw the player as the commander of XCOM tasked to protect Earth and its population from a powerful alien invasion, with the ultimate goal of driving the aliens away from Earth by any means necessary. XCOM 2 is immediately interesting in that rather than following on from the ending of Enemy Unknown where you win, it follows a more fresh path where the aliens win. So the game starts 20 years after Enemy Unknown, where the aliens have complete control over the Earth and its government. They also control the media to brainwash the population into believing that the aliens never meant any harm, and they were simply there to improve humanity. Obviously, as the game's first cutscene plays, you can immediately see all of this as a front for a more sinister plan. The game puts the player in the shoes of the commander of the newly reorganised XCOM, with the task of exposing the aliens' sinister plans, and ultimately reclaim the Earth. The game, while cliché in a lot of places, has a really interesting story, and is a huge step up from Enemy Unknown. There are several twists which I didn't even see coming. XCOM 2 plays a lot like its predecessor, but it has improved in nearly every way. You still control a squad of 4 soldiers which can be later upgraded to a squad of 6, which is a good number as any more would make things too hectic. In fact, I modified the game to test that by increasing the soldier cap to 60 and the amount of aliens to 100. Initially it was hilarious as a huge all-out war ensued, but it didn't work. The map just didn't have enough cover to cater for everyone, and it literally took the aliens 10 minutes to finish their turn. Like all XCOM games, there is also a permadeath feature for soldiers when they die. This is a feature I love as it gives a sense of attachment to the soldiers, especially high-ranking ones. The game changes its mission structure up from the previous game in that it has way more freedom with procedural generation. In Enemy Unknown, after enough playthroughs you could memorise mission order and sail through the game just by memory. With XCOM 2, everything barring a few story-specific missions is completely random. In fact, even the story missions are randomised when it comes to the maps and enemy layouts. Because of this, I could see myself playing XCOM 2 for a long time. As they perform well and gain kills on missions, soldiers get promoted. For the first time, they get assigned one of the game's 4 classes. Rangers, who wield a shotgun and sword and are catered for close quarters. Sharpshooters, who as the name implies are the game's long-range class providing overwatch. Grenadiers, who are basically walking tanks. And specialists who provide support such as healing and buffs for other squad members.
Go patch him up!
None of the classes are bad as all of them give an advantage when used, and it's best to have a mix of them. There is also a 5th class, the Psi Operative, which is only available later in the game when researched. The Psi Operative is a bit more technical, but they essentially act as a more risky support, as their buff abilities have trade-offs. An example would be that they can put a squad mate in stasis, making them immune to damage for 2 turns, but at the same time prevent that squad mate from moving. They can also apply debuffs to aliens such as making them panic, forcing them out of cover, making them easy targets for say sharpshooters. Enemy Unknown had a base building mechanic which was rather complex and had too many layers which served no real purpose. With XCOM 2, base building returns, but it's more simple. It's smaller, but everything built for it actually serves a purpose. I'm really happy about this as the base mechanics were a thing I hated in Enemy Unknown. The progressive research system also returns, with soldiers starting with more conventional weapons and armour, but as the game progresses you start researching alien technology to manufacture plasma weapons and powered armour, which greatly enhances the odds of success. As this happens, the aliens also develop through the campaign. At the start there will only be a few alien types, but as time goes by they start introducing nastier and more dangerous types. These new enemies also eventually become a mainline force, almost phasing the lesser aliens out. This system is great as there are moments where I felt superior to the aliens, only to be proved horribly wrong several missions later, and was forced to rework my strategy. However, like most games, XCOM 2 does have issues. The main one is the bizarre fact that nearly every mission has a turn timer, which honestly makes no sense as it often gives you 8 turns to finish the mission, forcing you to recklessly rush the soldiers around, which mostly results in their death. There is also the Doomsday meter, which is similar to the country backing from Enemy Unknown, but it's simpler and it's only 1 meter that fills, so in Enemy Unknown it would be game over if you lose all the country's backing by failing to help them. With XCOM 2, the meter increases as the game's calendar moves forward. There are opportunities to stall or set it back, but once it inevitably reaches its 12th point, you will be forced to launch a last-ditch suicide mission to stop it. I've played the mission and never stood a chance. It'd be interesting to see if it's possible to finish this mission and how it affects the game's ending. I'm not a fan of the doomsday clock though, as I feel 12 is too low, as the aliens literally increase the bar twice in in-game month, with me getting the opportunity to set it back once a month, which shortens the playtime of a playthrough. Being a PC game, it'd be a mistake not to talk about the game's performance. I can play the game at the highest setting, but there are random frame drops, with no reason to occur. I can however make the frame rate more stable by removing anti-aliasing. I have no doubt that this is due to an optimization issue, therefore I believe a patch will be released to fix it, but at the time of this video there is no such patch. XCOM 2 is a brilliant game and it takes all the good stuff from Enemy Unknown and improves on it and provides tons of variety and replay value. There is also an interesting story to follow. The timers on most of the missions may put many people off, but as Firaxis encourage, and the fact that the game is extremely easy to mod, it literally takes no effort to tailor the game to different playstyles.
Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
Despite it being so early in the year, I can already say that XCOM 2 could well be one of my top games of 2016. If you are a fan of turn-based strategy games or have played and enjoyed any past XCOM games, I would definitely recommend giving XCOM 2 a go.